Hello, I'm Stephen Fry, and most of you are listening to, but some of you are watching, The Bunch on mix.com.au.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Well, here we are with the one and only Stephen Fry, and you wouldn't believe how nervous we've been, Stephen, about meeting you. Because but really, we are
Australians nervous of an Englishman.
We are. Well,
I can imagine why your cricketers might be nervous of our cricketers.
Well, actually, I'm a New Zealander who lives here.
Oh, well,
yes.
You're exempt.
Now, Stephen, you're here with QI Live, of course, and we're excited. Whose idea was the concept for that show?
Well, really, it was Andrew Kay, our promoter, who approached us. Though, to be fair, we had the idea before to do it in London in the Royal Albert Hall last year. We just couldn't get it together, and because I had done a performance on my own at the Opera House in Sydney for two nights, and then at a theatre in Melbourne, I sort of had a one-man show that I had never realised I'd had before. So as we'd already booked the Albert Hall, I did that instead on my own, and we never did the QI Live. It was very difficult to get everybody together at the right time, and it was on short notice. But Andrew Kay came some time ago, and with the guys from Fremantle, the communications company, I think it used to be Reg Grundy and various other independents. He's now a super, as you know, broadcaster, who own the rights to QI, because it was an independent production for the BBC, and the independent company, Talkback Thames, is part of Fremantle. So together, together they sort of approached me, and I said, well, it would be silly to do it without Alan, because he's such a regular feature of it.
Well, that sort of leads me to that next question. Do you have any say in choosing the panellists on the show?
Well, sort of yes and sort of no. I would absolutely hate to stop anybody coming on, I mean, I would never shake my head and say no over my dead body, because I think if somebody wants to do it, and if the production team think that would be a good idea, then I'm always willing, to see, because some people take to it like a duck to water, and they're not necessarily the people you might expect. And they don't have to be a comedian, they don't have to be a journalist, there's no particular profession. It's just about your mindset. It's about your ability to the way I put it is to play gracefully with ideas, and sometimes wittily, one hopes, but it's not all about wit. It can genuinely be about interesting. Sometimes we've had guests who've held an audience spellbound by telling a story or revealing a truth about something that we hadn't known, and it hadn't been particularly funny, but everyone's just going, wow, that is quite interesting, which is what QI stands for. And
yes.
One of our best guests was a very young man, 20 at the time, I think, the actor Daniel Radcliffe, who was on a Christmas edition, and he was absolutely brilliant, because he has an immensely curious mind, and that's really the most important thing. It's, what you don't want is just a loud-mouthed stand-up who just talks over everybody else and goes into half of his routine and tells jokes all the time.
Yes.
You've got to pick up off the subject. And it doesn't have to be, you don't have to be, it's not intellectual. People, I mean, I've often said to someone, oh, you must come on QI, a friend, who might be an actor or a journalist or a writer. And they've gone, I'm not an intellectual, I couldn't possibly do it. And I go, it's not about being intellectual. It's about, as I say, playing gracefully with ideas.
And some great general knowledge.
Obviously, general knowledge helps, but it's not a general knowledge quiz. After all, in fact, the most notorious part of it is the one where I ask a question like a very simple question like, "What's the biggest life form on Earth?" And poor old Alan will press his buzzer and say blue whale, and of course it's a forfeit because it's not the biggest life form on Earth, and so he'll feel an idiot. And that's the thing, is challenging what we think we know. General ignorance, we call it. That section.